Do you believe that you can heal yourself? Too often we give our power away to something outside of ourselves, and rarely, if ever, trust and tap into our innate healing power and intuition. Everyone has this capability to heal in ways we never thought possible. It's your sovereign right to claim and have true health and lasting wellness. Now, here is the host of the Dr. Dolores Show, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in our amazing universe, and welcome to another episode of the Dr. Dolores Show on Inspired Choices Network. And, today how many of us are, kind of suffering with pain, and sometimes we just don't know how to move through it and transition it, and sometimes we feel like we're stuck with it. Well, today's episode, we're going to talk about the alchemy, transforming pain into power. And, alchemy is just like this magical thing. When I think of alchemy, it's just like, changing, things into gold and changing, it's like magical. And, what I'm here to say to you is that, yes, this can be a magical process. Sometimes we just have to widen back and look at the bigger picture of what's going on, particularly when you're in the midst of all of it happening and it's like bombarding you from all angles. So my hope today is to give you some ways to move through your pain and transition that into power, so you can gain the gold the gold nuggets that are there for you in that transition. And for those of you who are big skeptics and you're thinking black and white, it's either this or that, I invite you to stretch yourself a little bit and open to the possibility of shades of gray, because there are many things out there that are not just black and white. There's a whole palette of color between that black and white. And sometimes that's where we land as human beings. So, we talk about alchemy and stuff like that. I'm hoping at the end of our time together that you're going to see that you're not going to just be surviving emotionally, but transforming yourself into strength and purpose as well. So, I'm going to ask you guys this. What if the pain that you're going through is actually a gateway to power? Just sit with that for a moment. That kind of takes you out of your current situation, maybe not. So, when we are looking or experiencing those not so pleasant things that are happening in our world, it could really suck, okay? I've been there, you've been there, everybody's been there. It's just not the best place to be, and sometimes you just want to run away from it and not deal with it. But I'm inviting you to lean into it, but lean into it from more of a witness observer standpoint instead of just reacting to it. So let's define what emotional alchemy is. It's the conscious process of transforming painful emotions, maybe such like grief, anger, fear, or shame, into sources of personal power, wisdom, and growth. Much like the ancient practice of alchemy aimed to turn lead into gold. Just like that, emotional alchemy turns emotional heaviness into spiritual and psychological stress. So that's a definition that I just really love, because it does have the components of being magical and being very transformative as well. Some of the key elements that I feel that are important for emotional alchemy is just the awareness. And awareness is everything. When you're aware, then you are able to do something about it. It's when you're going in unconscious mode, is where you have a tendency to A plus B equals C. When you have the awareness, it's A plus B equals XYZ, PQ, and L and M. What I'm saying is that there's more possibilities available than just thinking that it has to happen a certain way just because it always had. So the awareness is recognizing and feeling your emotions fully without suppression or judgment. And for a lot of people, that could be a stretch. And it's doable. I invite you to take baby steps. When we observe, instead of reacting, we're witnessing our emotional patterns and triggers with curiosity rather than blame. Okay? Big difference. You feel it energetically. Observation, witnessing versus reaction. You could feel the difference in the energy flow just by saying those words here. Okay? One feels really heavy, and that's the trigger part, whereas observation is more high vibrating, and you're in the present moment and you're in the awareness of it. So another element of emotional alchemy is transmutation. And what that is shifting the energy of painful emotions into insight, resilience, and empowerment. When you're able to transmute that and able to realize that maybe this emotion is trying to give you an idea of maybe something that you need to look at deeper within yourself, or is something that keeps happening to you and it's a pattern, maybe it's time to go deeper because you're getting another theme and variation of the same thing and another possibility to gain some more gold nuggets from experiencing that and going deeper again. But it's also empowering you. When you're empowered, this is where you can make a different choice for yourself and you'll have a different outcome because of that choice. Okay. Another element of emotional alchemy is integration. It's embracing all of yourself, all the parts of you, including your pain. Too often we want to ignore the painful things that are in our lives, but remember, everything is energy, right? So even the pain that you're experiencing is energy. When we choose to ignore it or suppress it, guess what? The energy is still there. When you're able to embrace those painful parts of yourself and love them and appreciate them, it's an important step to becoming whole and healed. So remember, everything is energy. The things that we experience, emotions, are energy. When we ignore them, pretend they're not there, they don't go away. They actually grow and get bigger. So in essence, emotional alchemy reframes suffering not as a problem to avoid, but a powerful opportunity for transformation. So I invite you to lean into that, especially when you are feeling triggered by things, because there's a lot to be triggered about in our world today, but it's also the grand opportunity for healing at a very deep individual level as well. So I put together this quote for you, and this is by myself. Emotional alchemy is turning your pain into power and your wounds into wisdom. Just feel that. Emotional alchemy is turning your pain into power and your wounds into wisdom. And just remember too, pain as raw material is not a burden, but a catalyst for deep transformation. So I want to take you guys through a step-by-step transformation so you could have this material for yourself, so you could actually have an experience. So first of all, let's just talk about the first step, and it's awareness without judgment. And it's really just about being fully present with what's going on, what you're feeling, what the emotions that are coming up, and not labeling them as good or bad, but just as emotions. Key point, okay? When we label them, we're creating something different. When we are just experiencing them and being fully present with them, it's just an emotion. And why that's important is that when we suffer, we create more resistance. When we suppress, when we deny or judge our feelings, we disconnect from ourselves. Because what happens is that when you're fully present, you're in your body, okay? And say you get triggered. And sometimes when you're not aware, you will just automatically jump from being fully present to in your head where you are not fully present, because when you're in your head, you are thinking about yesterday, contemplating tomorrow, you're thinking, you're trying to figure it out. And I'm not saying that this is a bad thing or a good thing, but just be aware of what's happening, because if you have a tendency to go into react mode, this is what's happening. And you're responding or you're reacting out of a past experience of how it, you created something before in order to make it work. And I have to ask you this, how's that working out for you? Probably not so well, because the repeating trigger keeps coming. Okay, so it's really about feeling what you're feeling. When you feel like you're popping out of it, try to take a deep breath. And if you're not landing back in your body, take another deep breath. Easy thing to do, focus on heart space when you feel that, and just breathe into your heart so you could come fully present in the moment and not be tormented by the triggers. I like that. Tormented by the triggers. When we suppress or judge our feelings, like I said before, we disconnect from ourselves. So I'm just going to invite you, a practice you could use is just sit with what you're experiencing. Maybe name it. Say, I feel anger or I feel sadness. Just name it. And then just let it be there without trying to fix it. And just use your breath to stay present and grounded. This might be an interesting experiment for you, because it's going to take practice to do this, because we've been so programmed just to be in react mode all the time. It's like going to the fair and that game called whack-a-mole, where the mole comes up and you hit it with a mallet and it pops up someplace else. This is what we're constantly doing when we're reacting. Whereas when you are sitting with the emotion, you are acknowledging it and you're expressing the feel, what it feels like, okay? And you're just allowing it to be as it is. So an affirmation that you could use to help you with this is this. Hold on. I allow myself to feel without fear or judgment. And just keep repeating that as a mantra. I allow myself to feel without fear or judgment. And just allow yourself to be with that. So we're getting ready to go on our first break. And when we come back, we're going to continue with the other steps that are part of this process. Because I feel that this is really important information for my audience to have, because I feel that when we have more tools for ourselves, we are better equipped, and we are able to, step into our power more easily. So you've been listening to the Dr. Dolores Show on Inspired Choices Network, and I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. And we're talking today about alchemy, transforming pain to power. So stay tuned, and we'll share more when we come back.
Do you trust your instincts? Many of us don't. Yet this is the key to connecting to your innate healer within and your intuition. Tune in to the Dr. Dolores Show with nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, to receive insights and tools to realign with your inner wisdom for lasting health and true wellness. Listen for the Dr. Dolores Show, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Ready to break free from complacency? Welcome to I'm Awake, Now What? Your monthly invitation to embrace conscious living. If you've been feeling lost or stagnant, this is your chance to awaken your purpose. Join our transformative conscious wake-up office hours every month for guidance and self-discovery. Experience the power of clarity and focus as you navigate towards holistic healing and empowerment. Don't just survive, thrive. Sign up now and unlock a wealth of benefits, including enhanced well-being, stress reduction, emotional healing, and connection. It's time to ignite the flames of purpose within and start your journey to a fulfilling life.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Dr. Dolores Show with Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to Dolores at drdoloresfazzino.com. Now, back to the program.
And welcome back, everybody. You're listening to the Dr. Dolores Show on Inspired Choices Network. And I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. And we've been talking about alchemy, the transformation. We're going to shift pain to power today and learn how to do that on our show. So it's transforming pain to power. And, before the break, we were talking about some step-by-step things that people could do to assist themselves with this transition or transformation to have more alchemical moments in your life. And before our break, we talked about the importance of having awareness without judgment. That's basically pretty much sitting with the emotion, naming it, and just let it be what it is without trying to fix it. And just, try to do your best to remain grounded. And one of the best ways to do that is through your breath. So just take some deep breaths. So, and secondly, it's like we want to identify triggers and patterns because this is where the gold nuggets are. There's no mistake that you're being triggered by something externally in your world because there's an aspect of that is your truth as well. And maybe it's something that really drives you crazy. And the external trigger is never what the deeper underlying issue is. I just want you to remind you of that. And believe me, there's much to be triggered about in our lives right now, but there's much opportunity for us to take that deep dive into why you're being triggered and heal that up once and for all. I think that's a greatest gift that you could give yourself and humanity as well. So what it means is that when you're looking for the underlying cause of why you're feeling triggered, and it's not just a surface emotion, to uncover recurring emotional cycles happen over and over. Now we know that when we get triggered by something and it's like a very similar pattern, it's like we get to go to the core of where it started, basically. And the core is like emotional reactions that have stemmed from, past woundings or unhealed experiences that we've had in our lives. And, I know I've talked about this before on my show, is that sometimes when something traumatic happens to us when we're younger, for an example, it's like part of us gets landlocked in another time and place. It's like a fraction of our soul gets fractured off, and it's still part of us. It's like an octopus with a tentacle going into that area during a different time and place. And it's like reliving the emotional experience that was had at that point. And what might have happened at the initial wounding is this: we've gone numb, or we suppressed that, or we ignored what was happening, but yet it still gets triggered because you are witnessing things outside that have a very similar energetic pattern. I hope I didn't lose you on that, but that's pretty much what it is. It's like, so when we're able to look at the emotional reactions we're having currently to the current trigger, I just invite you to sit and reflect on, when did I first feel that way? Okay. It's not that person right now that's doing it to you. Newsflash, it's something that happened in another time and place within you. Okay. You may want to journal about what you're experiencing, because these repeating themes and situations, they can trigger some strong emotions within yourself, and it's okay. And you may want to ask, as you're journaling, what belief is fueling this emotion? Maybe, say you are really annoyed with something you heard on the news, and it has something to do with some injustice or in some unfairness, and you're just triggered. And so look back in your life where you were treated unfairly and unjust, and you'll probably be able to remember it, maybe not. Maybe you need to journal about this feeling and just see what unravels. And once you get to where the pattern is, and you might say, oh, okay, you know what? I was in second grade and something happened and I got blamed for something and it wasn't my fault. And it was like you were being treated unjust. That's an example. So with that in mind, you might want to affirm this: I see the patterns clearly and I choose to break free. And I'm just going to repeat that. I see the patterns clearly and I choose to break free. When we have unconscious patterns that are driving our show, or pretty much showing up in our life through some like emotional reactions that you might have, they probably stem from deeper wounds. So I just know this, for those people who know me pretty well, I still assist in surgery at the hospitals. I'm a nurse practitioner that actually assists in surgery, and I've been doing that for the last 30 years, in addition to spiritual growth and healing and teaching people how to heal in ways they never thought possible. We had an instance where a surgeon, just out of the blue, came up to another surgeon in a substerile area and just decked him out and just, gave him a bloody nose, and then went back as if nothing was wrong. Of course, there's more to the story, but what I felt in that moment when I heard that, it's like, oh my God, this gentleman who decked this other surgeon who's in his late 60s, this has been a common occurrence, through his history, because I've been doing this work for like 30 years. And it's like, it was very evident to me that this was some childhood incidents where he didn't get his own way and he just took it out on somebody else. I mean, that's a very extreme case of what I'm talking about, but it's very true. So there's some deep wounded little boy in that grown, elder senior man that is just really, pissed off and needs to be reeled in, loved, appreciated, and accepted for what it was. So let's talk about reframing our narrative, okay? When, a lot of times when we tell the story that, oh, you know what, this other person's doing this to me and creating this, we're learning how to shift the story that we tell ourselves about the pain from victimhood to empowerment. Okay. It's shifting. When we reframe the narrative, we're shifting from being a victim to being empowered. And this is important because the dialogue, our internal dialogue, creates our reality. And that is essentially true. And that's another thing I talk about on my show, about what you're labeling the container of water that is you. Okay. Are you labeling it with negative things? Are you beating yourself up because you are labeling this container and this is what you're creating for yourself? So by changing the story or changing the labeling of the container, we can change the outcome. Okay. So why not replace, I think the first thing people say when stuff starts going south or down the rabbit hole is like, why is this happening to me? This keeps happening to me. Maybe change that with, what is this trying to teach me? This keeps happening and I'm not getting it. What is it trying to teach me? And just be with that, and maybe, just sit with it and feel what's coming up. If you need to journal, find the gold, maybe look at the strengths that have emerged from this experience, especially if it's been a repeating pattern. Sometimes when repeating patterns happen, it's not like one aspect. There might be more aspects that you need to incorporate and grasp into your life. It's like, how could I say this? It's like themes and variations, okay, of the same core issue, but you're getting to it from a different aspect where there's a different, I want to say, remember that octopus I was talking about? A different tentacle has a different flavor to it that needs to be looked at and addressed. So, I invite you to find the gold. What strengths have emerged from having this experience? Because there's always strengths. You probably have learned to become more resilient. You become more awake to what's going on, possibly, and you are getting closer and closer to it being complete. And remember, speak to yourself as you would speak to someone you love. And an affirmation to add to this is, my story is evolving. I am the author of my healing. My story is evolving. I am the author of my healing. I feel one of the most important things to remember is self-compassion. And what that is treating yourself with the gentleness and grace, especially during emotional discomfort. It's like learning how to comfort and soothe yourself. When we are compassionate with ourselves, it opens our heart and allows integration. Remember, healing doesn't come from being harsh to ourselves. It's from being loving, compassionate, and realizing that you deserve that. So something simple to do is just place your hand over your heart and say, I'm here for you. And just forgive yourself for what you didn't know then. And honor the courage it takes to feel and heal. And just tell yourself that I offer myself love, understanding, and deep kindness. I offer myself love, understanding, and deep kindness. So right now we're going to go on our next break. And you've been listening to the Dr. Dolores Show on Inspired Choices Network. And we've been talking about transforming pain to power and the alchemical process of doing so. And when we return, we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then I'm going to take you through a guided meditation to help you integrate some of this so you could really make this your own. So stay tuned and we'll see you after the break.
Do you trust your instincts? Many of us don't. Yet this is the key to connecting to your innate healer within and your intuition. Tune in to the Dr. Dolores Show with nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, to receive insights and tools to realign with your inner wisdom for lasting health and true wellness. Listen for the Dr. Dolores Show, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Ready to break free from complacency? Welcome to I'm Awake, Now What? Your monthly invitation to embrace conscious living. If you've been feeling lost or stagnant, this is your chance to awaken your purpose. Join our transformative conscious wake-up office hours every month for guidance and self-discovery. Experience the power of clarity and focus as you navigate towards holistic healing and empowerment. Don't just survive, thrive. Sign up now and unlock a wealth of benefits, including enhanced well-being, stress reduction, emotional healing, and connection. It's time to ignite the flames of purpose within and start your journey to a fulfilling life.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Dr. Dolores Show with Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Dolores at drdoloresfazzino.com. Now, back to the program.
And welcome back, everybody. You're listening to the Dr. Dolores Show on Inspired Choices Network. And we're talking about alchemy, transforming pain to power today on our show. And before our break, we went through some step-by-step things that people could do to help transform their lives. And so I'll just recap a little. Being aware without judgment. That means being fully present with your emotions without labeling them as good or bad. They're just as they are. And then we talked about looking at triggers and identifying triggers, and the importance of triggers being truly a gift, because it's never the thing that we're being triggered about in the moment that is really the cause of what's going on with us. It's something deeper within ourselves from another time and place that's unhealed, and it's crying for a healing. And then we went into reframing our narrative as far as changing the story that we tell ourselves. If you're like the negative Nelly that is always, be going down the path of victimhood or going down the rabbit hole of that, it's about being able to shift from that and changing the story and telling yourself something different. It's like, we are vessels of water. So what are you labeling this vessel of water? Because whatever you label it, it's going to create. So I invite you to start talking nicely to yourself and just cutting yourself some slack. Okay. So we also talked about how it's important to embrace self-compassion, because when you are able to be compassionate with yourself, it opens your heart and allows an integration and allows you to heal. It shifts things. That's where the magical part comes in. And so the next step is called integrate and rise. And what that means is applying what you've learned and allowing the transformation to shape your life. True alchemy isn't just insight, it's embodied wisdom that influences your choices, boundaries, and presence. So when you start shifting the internal, your essence is going to transform and change and shift to the newer material and the more positive and healing material that you've integrated. So how you could do that is this. Celebrate your emotional growth, no matter how small it is. It doesn't have to, you don't have to wait for the big things to happen. Celebrate things as they happen in your life. And you'll realize there's a lot to celebrate. And you know what? Share your experience with others. It helps you to reinforce your healing and also make aligned decisions that reflect your new inner power. So, a great affirmation that you might consider utilizing this is this: I rise from my pain with power, purpose, and peace. I rise from my pain with power, purpose, and peace. I'm going to say I rise from my pain with P3 or P cubed. Power, purpose, and peace. So as we go into our meditation, I just encourage you to think of an emotional wound that you're ready to transform. And I invite you to take that with you as we go into our guided meditation. Okay. So I welcome you to this moment of stillness, and find a place where you can be comfortable and undisturbed for about 6 or 7 minutes. And what's really cool about this meditation is that you're choosing to meet yourself exactly where you are. And that's a very courageous step to take. And I commend you on that. So let's just begin by finding that comfortable position. Either you're sitting or lying down, and gently close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale slowly through your mouth. Again, deep inhale through your nose. Hold and exhale and release any tension in your body. With every breath, allow yourself to arrive more fully in this space. Feel your body supported by the earth beneath you. Let go of the need to fix, do, or change anything. Just be here. Now bring your attention gently to your heart center. And notice any sensations or emotions that may be present. There's no need to judge. Simply observe. This is your sacred space for awareness. As you breathe, imagine your breath creating space around your emotions, like a gentle light shining into a shadowed room. If there is pain, allow it to be seen. If there is sorrow, honor it. If you feel numb, honor that too. You are not your pain. You are the witness. Breathe and let it be. Now, gently ask yourself, when have I felt this before? What is this emotion trying to show me? Notice what rises, an image, a memory, a word. No need to analyze, just observe. You are becoming the alchemist, one who sees the deeper layers beneath the surface. Now, repeat silently or aloud. I am not defined by my pain. I am shaped by my healing. I am not defined by my pain. I am shaped by my healing. Now, imagine rewriting the story, not as the victim of life, but as the hero of your transformation. Feel that shift from powerlessness to presence, from pain to purpose. Place your hand gently over your heart. Feel the warmth of your touch and whisper to yourself, I'm here for you. I see you. I love you. Let these words wrap around the places within you that feel fragile or unseen. You are worthy of grace. You are worthy of healing. So take a breath in, and as you exhale, feel yourself grounding into this newfound strength. See yourself standing taller, lighter, more whole and complete. From this place, you rise, not despite the pain, but because of what it has taught you. You are not broken. You are being reborn. And you could repeat silently, I turn my pain into power, my words into wisdom, and my story into strength. And take one more deep breath. And when you're ready, slowly begin to return to your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes and gently open your eyes. And carry this inner shift with you into your day, your choices, your life. You are the alchemist, and transformation has already begun. And we're going on to our next break, and welcome everybody. And you're listening to the Dr. Dolores Show on Inspired Choices Network. And when we come back, we'll wrap it up for the episode with some takeaways. Stay tuned.
Do you trust your instincts? Many of us don't. Yet this is the key to connecting to your innate healer within and your intuition. Tune in to the Dr. Dolores Show with nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, to receive insights and tools to realign with your inner wisdom for lasting health and true wellness. Listen for the Dr. Dolores Show, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Ready to break free from complacency? Welcome to I'm Awake, Now What? Your monthly invitation to embrace conscious living. If you've been feeling lost or stagnant, this is your chance to awaken your purpose. Join our transformative conscious wake-up office hours every month for guidance and self-discovery. Experience the power of clarity and focus as you navigate towards holistic healing and empowerment. Don't just survive, thrive. Sign up now and unlock a wealth of benefits, including enhanced well-being, stress reduction, emotional healing, and connection. It's time to ignite the flames of purpose within and start your journey to a fulfilling life.
This is the Dr. Dolores Show with Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Dolores at drdoloresfazzino.com. Now, back to the program.
And welcome back, everybody. You're listening to the Dr. Dolores Show on Inspired Choices Network. And I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. And I hope you've enjoyed our episode today. We are talking about alchemy, transforming pain to power. And, I left a way for you to like a little plan, a little floor plan, a guidance, a tool, a script, if you want to call it that. But it's simple 5 steps that are going to allow you to help with transforming pain into power. And I invite you to go back and listen to them at any time. Also, one thing I want to add too is that sign up for our newsletter and like us on YouTube and all the other listening platforms. We love hearing your feedback. And if you like what you're hearing here and you want to hear more, just reach out to us and let us know the topics that you'd like to learn more about, because I'm more than willing to share. This is the wisdom keeper right here. You're speaking to her in the flesh. Anyway, let's talk about some takeaways from our show today. We have to remember that pain is a portal, not a prison. And I love the image that I've seen before. It's like we're in this prison cell, the door is open, there's light shining in, but we choose to stay there. We could leave at any time and walk through that archway of that doorway to freedom. So I invite you to have the awareness that pain is a portal and it's not a prison. pain could become a powerful teacher when we approach it with awareness. Awareness is the first act of alchemy. Transformation begins with non-judgmental presence, the simple act of observing your observing your emotions starts the alchemical shift. And that is very true, because this is where we step into our power, where we're able to observe instead of reacting. Remember that your triggers are your teachers. Patterns and emotional reactions are not setbacks. They're clues pointing towards unhealed places within ourselves, ready for compassion and growth. And trust me, in today's day and time and what we're experiencing here in the US of A, but also globally, there's many triggers, so there's lots of opportunity for compassion and growth, and it all starts with us. Reframing what has happened to us changes everything. The stories we tell ourselves shape our reality. Sometimes I wonder how we came up with that certain story, that we created, but we did, and maybe it was survival. But when you shift your internal narrative, you reclaim your power. So, look at yourself where you are. What story are you telling yourself? Okay? Because that is what you're creating in your reality. And lastly, self-compassion is the real magic. Self-compassion is the real deal. Healing accelerates when you stop fighting your pain and start meeting it with kindness. This is where true transformation begins. So I'm going to leave you with this quote. Your wound is not your weakness. It's where the light of your strength is born. And that's from moi. And, just some closing thoughts. Emotional alchemy is not about bypassing pain, but about moving through it with grace, courage, and compassion. When you honor your emotions and stop seeing them as the enemy, they become the very fuel that propels your transformation. You are not here to merely cope. You're here to evolve, to rise, and to embody your truest power. So, if today's episode resonated with you and you're ready to go deeper on your awakening journey, join us in our monthly membership, I'm Awake Now What? Every week you'll receive conscious business hours. We go live once a week on Zoom, and we offer tools, insight, energetic support, and a loving community to help guide your transformation. Remember, you don't have to do it alone. Let's walk this path together. Just go to my website, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, and click on the tab, I'm Awake Now What? And just follow the prompts. We're looking forward to seeing you and helping you and supporting you on your awakening journey. So, as we continue to move on in our world, it's important that we focus on compassion. And it's not just compassion to other people. It's about offering that gift to ourselves. In my experience, and I feel that self-compassion is definitely a foundational piece to create the life that we want, to heal up our own wounds, and to create that peace that we desire within ourselves. So stay tuned next week, and we'll see you on a next episode on the Dr. Dolores Show. Remember, you are worth it.
Thank you for listening to the Dr. Dolores Show. Dr. Dolores returns Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, remember to be kind to yourself and create your best life. You are worth it.